everybody, Jeff, the Executive Gardener here. Welcome back to another episode. So, I got a lot of work to do today, but I've been traveling for a while, and as you'll see, my tomato seedlings in my Orta Seed Starter are done. Again, I do not get paid by the Orta Seed Starter, but if you do not have one of these, you're making a mistake. And by the way, I'm also sorry because I think they're sold out, but this is an incredible invention, and it lets me leave my seedlings for many days and they grow well. Constantly waters them. You can see another video on that, but they're ready to go. Also, many of you had bought black semen tomatoes from me, also known as BSM, and these are them. Most of them, you'll see I think my germination rate was 85%, so they did very well. In addition, I do have some cello cherry tomatoes, cherry fountain tomatoes, and big rainbow tomatoes. So that's going to be my collection of tomatoes this year. And I'm not going to grow too much, but these black semen tomatoes, it's hard to beat. They're the big tomatoes that are about 8 to 10, 12 ounces, and they're delicious heirloom tomato. Again, many of you, several hundreds of you, got seeds from me last year. I'll try to save them again this year, and we'll do another seed giveaway at some point in time. So I'm going to replant them, but before I do, I'm going to replant them in slightly bigger containers. I'll show you when they're done. You don't need to sit there and watch me replant them for the purpose of time, but a lot of people ask me what I replant them with when they come out of the Orta Seed Starter. I use a good organic potting mix, number one. Number two is I amend the potting mix and I put some additional perlite in there to make the soil nice and fluffy and allow water to pass through easily and the roots to pass through the soil easily in case we get rain or something like that and it gets impacted. Number two, I put Epsom salt. This is a 2.5 gallon bucket. For this, I probably put 2 tablespoons in. I also put 2 tablespoons of blood meal, 2 tablespoons of fish bone meal, 1 tablespoon of calcium nitrate, and lastly, 2 tablespoons of green sand for potassium. So I put that in there, and I probably have 1.5 gallons mixed up, and I put the appropriate tablespoons that I just told you in here. And so it's not going to burn the plant. They're all natural, organic type fertilizers that you can buy online. But that's what I'm going to do to give it its good boost of NPK, also some calcium, also some magnesium sulfate to get these tomatoes off to the best start. I'm going to probably plant these in these other containers I'll show you later, and then probably in a week or two I'm going to put them outside and I'll show you that episode. But again, if you bought the black semen tomatoes from me, you just saw them. Those things are probably 3 weeks old, so they've gone nuts in the Orta Seed Starter. So I'll bring you back when I replant all these tomato seedlings into the small 3-inch plastic containers. Hang tight. Alright, so here we are. All the tomatoes are back. They're replanted in these tubs, these 3-inch containers, and they're good to go. So as you'll see, they're all wilting a little bit, as when you transplant plants, they wilt. They'll be back. Put them, when you're done transplanting them, put them in a kind of a no sun type of room for 12 hours, and they'll be back within 12 hours. So, plus it's a little bit hot. It's 85 degrees today, and it's, what, March 10th? So a little bit warm here in Houston, Texas, but you know, as you'll see here before, they don't look as big and bushy as they were before. When you replant these, keep in mind when you plant a tomato plant, you can plant it down the stem some. So when you look, you'll see a bunch of hairs. All of those will turn into roots. So for each of these, if you look at them, I did plant them fairly deep, so they're far down, and then I built them up. I buried many of these hairs that are along the stem to build a stronger plant. So all are good. I'm going to put these under the light, and there you go. So we have rainbow, cello, cherry fountain, and black semen tomatoes. Another thing I wanted to point out, if you're doing this, and these are all from seeds, remember, these have not been acclimated to outdoors. So you can see there's wind, it's 85 degrees, you will kill them. Remember, you got to harden your plants off a little bit at a time. If you're growing them indoors under lights, And if it's 80 degrees or 70 degrees, only put them out for 15 minutes at a time, bring them back. put them out a little bit, bring them back. Put them out a little bit longer, bring them back. And after you do that for about a week, they should be ready to go, depending on your climate. So it just takes a while. It's called hardening off your plant. So these will go inside. I'll start to harden them off over the next week or so, and then probably in a week or two plant them. Anyway, that's it. The tomato seeds, now seedlings, are doing great. Till next time, Jeff, your executive gardener. Happy spring gardening. Bye.